Boss man, how you doing, man?
Not bad, brother. Not bad. Not bad. Not bad. How are you, sir?
Man, I'm happy we're here.
All right. How is it going on your end?
Man, Colorado is beautiful. A lot of beautiful colors this time of year. The trees changing color, so beautiful. We can't complain, and we have a beautiful sunny day today.
That's one thing I missed from the East Coast too. When I was in Tennessee, New Jersey, the tree changing colors and things, it was beautiful. And I don't see that much here in Texas, but that's what we get when we have only dry season and rainy
season. Man, look, you guys did something very nice in the Liberian community yesterday, man. I must commend you. That was wonderful. You brought the community together yesterday, man. I saw you guys did some wonderful work.
Thank you. That's what we are here for, service, serving of the people. That's all we can do. But let's talk about why we are here today, domestic violence and its impact on victims, This is an interesting and a serious topic, I would really like to hear what you guys have to discuss. I'm going to be your engineer today. See how I dress fine to be your engineer in the background. You see,
I salute you, bro. Thank you.
Yeah, so I'm here to support.
But this is such an interesting topic. It is such an interesting topic, and it is so powerful that you and I, we couldn't do a service, so we had to bring the doctor today. The doctor is on call today, so we brought the friendly counselor. So I'm looking forward to what she has to tell us today about this taboo subject that we are attempting to address today.
Yeah, definitely. And I definitely will jump in at a certain point because I know I have one or two questions myself that I might jump in to just chime in on that. But let's get the music started. We have a song here today by our own Liberian brother. His name is Walter Bright. And this song is called I'm Counting My Blessing. That they had a song long time ago called Counting My Blessing, named them one by one. And he kind of took that song and different things and put them together. And this is a beautiful song. I think I love it. So, folks, for the first time on Liberia Shall Rise, you'll be hearing Walter Bright. His song is Counting My Blessings. Enjoy it. After that, we'll be bringing our guests on. Like I said, share the video, invite your friends, invite your neighbors, and tell them that the person is here. And Mr. Sherry already got his cassava grade. Don't forget to get yours too. So, yeah, I'm gonna go try to get mine in the background while they're working. So, but thank you all for joining us, man. Let me get the song rolling. You ready for the song, sir?
Man, I can't wait. Let's do it.
Okay. First, Tina, how are you?
Come on, somebody. Let's give God some praise today. If he's been good to you, I need you to join me right now and lift your voice and give him the glory and the honor and the praise.
Hey, Tina, thanks for joining Liberia Shall Rise. Please share the show. I see you on as our first commenter today. I think we should start giving people prizes. Like the first person to comment get a prize, in the future, Liberia Shall Rise. But Miss Tina, thank you for joining us. I'm going to let it continue, but I was just excited. I just wanted to say that, ideas come when you're watching stuff. So let's enjoy the music. Right back, we'll bring our guests on. All right.
Weeping may endure for the night, joy comes in the morning. So in my weakness I will shout, lift a song of rejoicing. In every circumstance I will never be shaken, for he's been good to me. So good to me, yeah. Favor that I didn't deserve, the life love you showed like no one else. Promise giving to progress. I can go on counting my blessings. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I count my blessings, name them one by one. I remember. I think of all He's done, and I sing of His favor. So in every circumstance, I will never be shaken. For He's been good to me. Oh, so good to me. Yeah, the favor that I didn't deserve. Love you showed like no one else. Promise given to progress. I can go on counting my blessings. Somebody ought to help me say, I'm counting my blessings. Yes, I am. Counting my blessings. Yes, I am. Counting my blessings. Yeah, I can go on. I'm counting my blessings. He picked me up every time I fall. He hears me every time I call. Yeah, I'm counting my blessings. Yeah, counting my blessings. Yes, I am. Weeping may endure for the night. Oh, I'm counting my blessings. I'm counting my blessings one by one. Yeah, I'm not gonna let these rocks cry my place. Counting my blessings. Yeah. Oh, my way maker, my mountain mover, my healer, my comforter, my protector. Thank you for your favor. Ooh, all the love. Say I can go on. I thank you for your favor. Ooh, Jesus, for all the love you showed. Say I.
I see you shaking your head, brother. I see you shaking your head. This is good. This is
I need you to join me right now and lift your voice and give Him the glory.
I forgot we were live, man. In the background, jamming.
yeah, that's good. What do you think about this song, though? What do you think about
Beautiful
it?
song, man. It's a beautiful song.
All right,
Wow.
all right. That was Walter Bright with Counting My Blessing, another Liberian artist, another Liberian star. Folks, follow him on YouTube, Walter Bright. I'll actually put his name up here in a little bit for you guys to follow him. That's how we support our Liberian artists. Please follow him on YouTube. His name is Walter Bright. If you like this song, please follow him. All right, Mr. Sharif, I'm gonna leave this all to you. Let me not take up much of your time. You see, I even chopping this evening, so I'm gonna leave it with you to continue. But thank you so much, brother. I look forward to hearing what you guys have to discuss.
All right. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning. Hello, wherever you are. To all of our viewers and all of our supporters around the world. Thank you for joining us today. We have another thought-provoking show for you today. So today we are going to be talking about a subject that is not nearly spoken of, especially in our Liberian community. And so before we go on the show, I just like to give you maybe some warning, just to be safe here. One of the things that we want to be very careful with is that we do not want to re-traumatize anyone. Today's show, we are going to be talking about domestic violence. And we, at this platform, we understand that it is very possible that some of you may have experienced some domestic violence, and maybe just hearing the topic, it will reawaken that trauma for you. So basically, we just want to give you that caveat that you can watch, share the show, but it's at your own discretion. But again, we want to encourage everyone. Our goal is to actually educate and to help people to make the decision to find the help that is necessary. And so that is one thing I just want to kind of put out there. And the second thing I'd like to just kind of emphasize the viewpoints from Stephen and myself, Dr. Positive and myself. We don't want that to be viewed as a professional diagnosis, because we are not doctors. We are not in that particular field to be able to give any kind of diagnosis. But today, to help us with the show, Stephen, you ready for this?
Yes,
To
sir.
help us
Yes.
with the show, to help us with the show, we do have we had to make a phone call, and the doctor answered. The friendly counselor is here with us today, and she is going to be discussing this topic with us: domestic violence and its impact on the victims. So, without any further ado, I'd like to welcome to the show the friendly counselor herself, Dr. Quita Roberts. Dr. Roberts, welcome to the show.
Hey guys, thank you for
Thank
having
you. Thank
me.
you.
It's been a while since you were here. It's been a long time. I think maybe 4 or 5 months. How you been?
Yes. It
And
really has. You guys shouldn't wait that long to bring me back on the show. Come on now. I'm honored
yeah,
to be here.
it's been a while, and a lot of things happen. I mean, if you don't feel comfortable sharing, that's fine. But a lot of things happen. I think one of the things that happened, your little man went to college. Is that one of the things
Yes,
that happened?
yes. So my baby went to college, graduated high school, and we had to, get him on his way to Hampton University. So he's thriving, he's doing well. And of course, with COVID, things has just been all over the place. But yeah, we praise God that, things are moving in the right direction.
Well, congratulations. That means you guys are doing something good. Congratulations to you and your husband.
Yes.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank
Congratulations.
you. Thank you. Thank you.
But today we didn't bring you here for us to talk about, all those other cassava gravy talk we've just been having. We brought you here for something so important that we
Yes.
just couldn't handle it. We had to make that phone call to you. So today we want to be talking about domestic violence.
Mhm.
And when you got this call from our producer on this topic, what was your feeling?
Oh, I was so happy. I was so happy because I was excited. One of my passion is educating our women, especially Liberian women, about domestic violence. As you
Awesome.
guys already know, I work in the field. I'm a licensed therapist, and so daily as I talk to clients and my patients about DV, those patients that I have that are struggling, that are victims or have been victimized,
Hmm.
male and females included. I am passionate about educating them about first safety and just letting them get the word out how they can really safeguard themselves from this type of abuse. So when I got the call, I was so excited about it. I said, yes, I can be a part of the conversation, to really join my voices with you too in letting our population, I mean, especially the Liberian population, how important this is. Our people are dying by the numbers. So
Mm.
I'm glad, I'm grateful, I'm honored to be a part of the conversation today.
Wow. Well, thank you, Doug. Thank you, thank you so much. I'm super excited about the show today myself. And
Yeah.
but before we get into the meat of the show, I just like to speak to our audience once more. I like to encourage you to please send us your comments, join the conversation. If you'd like to call in, there's going to be a number scrolling on the bottom of your screen. We're going to have that number posted for you shortly that you can call and talk to the doctor herself. And if you have any comments, any question that you would like for the doctor to answer, please feel free, go ahead and do it. We are talking about domestic violence today. We want your voices to be heard, and we hope that this show is going to be a healing for you. So, Dad, let's get right into it. Let's talk about a working definition for domestic violence. What would be the academic definition? What would be the layman definition of domestic violence?
Yeah, so when we hear about domestic violence, layman, it's a pattern of abusive behaviors, right? And this
Mm.
happens in intimate relationship. It happened in family type circle relationship. So it's a pattern of controlling behaviors that occurs between family members or intimate partner. The key word is to gain power and control.
Hmm.
Okay, it can take its form from physical, sexual, psychological, economic abuse, meaning you're using money to control. And we hear it called so many different ways: domestic violence, intimate partner violence, or it
Hmm.
can even be defined as domestic abuse. Is basically maintaining that power and control. It includes being afraid of your partner, of course, the family member, terrorizing, manipulating, hurting, humiliating, um, anything, blaming, and sometimes even death of someone. So
Wow.
just this pattern of abusive, controlling behavior.
Wow. So yeah, so thank you. I mean, it does appear, or it sounds to me like everything you are saying at the center of domestic violence is this need for control,
Hmm.
for one person, whether it's the male or the female, to be in control. And
Yes.
so I think there's this power and controlling thing that we talk about. So I would like for you to, because you threw out a lot of stuff there. So I would like
Yeah.
for you to go into each of those things, maybe, and just kind of talk about the power and control wheel. If you can have that just kind of broken down for us, and we can just kind of have you just touch base on each of those pieces on power and control.
Yes. So I just want to highlight that domestic violence happens, of course, in any country, all races, cultures, religion, income levels. It can happen to people of all ages, gender, and sexual orientation. It has no respect of whether you are black or you are
Mm.
white, whether you are Liberian or you're Ghanaian or you are American. It happens across the board. So let's look at this power and control wheel. When we talk about the physical, we talk about violence in the physical meaning, making or carrying out threats. That's somebody who's telling you, I will hurt you, I will kill you, I will beat you, okay, I will slap you, those type
Mm.
of things to somebody. I'm going to leave you. I will leave you with the children and all of those things. I will kill myself. Physical threats. I will kill you. Okay, I will kill the children. So I will report you to child welfare in America. We say child welfare, right?
Right.
I will take the children from you. In Liberia, they may say, I will take the kids from you and I will run away and I will go. In
Hmm.
America, they will tell you, I will call child welfare and they will take the kids from you because I will tell them you are an unfit parent. And sometimes in DV, we see that charges are dropped. Also, using intimidation. We're talking about the physical, using intimidation. So, whatever it is to use that they would to intimidate that person, that is what they are using. And then there is the sexual part of it,
Hmm.
where they are using force when it comes to making you do sexual things against your will. So that is the sexual piece of it. And then there is the economic, when we talk about economic abuse. So we're looking at money. These are people who will take away the credit card, take away the bank card. Sometimes they will even force you to ask them for money. They will force you to ask them for money before you got to go to the store. You don't keep any money to go to the market to buy food. You got to ask for money. In America, they hold the cards, they hold the bank account. Sometimes there are people that get paid and they have to give their full paycheck to their spouses, women and men. You get paid and you give me your paycheck, and then I subtract from your paycheck how much I think you need to spend. So you need spending money, I will give that to you. Power and control. Prevent them from getting or keeping a job. So they will sabotage everything they can to make sure you lose that job, whether or not it's calling your job or making sure that you are doing things that is going to put your job in jeopardy. Making them, like I stated, ask for money. Okay, having access to the family income, they got to get that proof. They got to get that acceptance from you. There is something we call male privilege. Male privilege is, and I'm sorry, but we see this a lot in Liberia, guys. Male privilege is using that masculine male voice, that, girt to control. I'm a man. So, you do this when I tell you to because I'm your man. I'm your husband. You don't argue with me. I'm the man. I will slap you. If I hear you talk to me that way, I will slap you. That means you talking to like that. Who you think you're talking to, you woman? A woman place is in the kitchen. A woman should be quiet. A woman place is in the home. A woman does not go out when I'm talking to my friends. Then she want to talk. That's not your place. Stay in your place. That's that male privilege, that male power. When it comes to big decisions, they want to take control of that. So if I want to buy a car and I'm working for my money and I see a car that I like and I went into the car dealership and I said, I want to buy this car. Well, guess what? I didn't ask my husband for permission. How dare you look at a car without my permission, right? For some families, that's an issue. They act like they are the master. They're in control. And you are the servant. It is this type of relationship. You're up here and I'm down here, right?
Wow.
You're here and I'm here. And I have to stay here in order to be in alignment with you. That's my place. I cannot cross over here. If I cross over here, that's danger zone, right? So whatever it is that define the male privileged manhood is what they do. And when we talk about using coercion, we talk a little bit about physical, right? Making her feel guilty, name calling, making her feel guilty about the children, using the children to get what you want. You're not going to see your children if you don't do X, Y, and Z. I will take my kids from you, right? Messaging her. And we see this a lot whenever the families have split, and you see sometimes, or the partner is trying to leave, and then you see that threats, cohesion they're using, to kind of get the partner. And I keep saying partner because I want to make this very clear. Men are also victims of domestic violence. It's not, we see it more in women. It is true. I want to highlight that women are majority of the time victims of domestic violence. So if you hear me stating both male and female, is I just want to put that out there. Minimizing, denying, blaming. Sometimes your plans for the future. There is something we call gaslighting. There are some men that will make you feel like, your goals are not important. It's almost like they are jealous of your success. They are envious of your success. You want to go to school for what? What do you think you will learn? You're too stupid to do nursing, or you're too stupid to do psychology. Who you think will even listen to you? Nobody will even pay you no mind, right? You're wasting your time. They don't take you seriously. Your business. Oh, I want to open a business. I want to go do this. You can't even sell little kobo here. That big business you go open in the market. Man, move from here, man. Who you think this is? Right? So everything there is, they shut your plans down. They call you names. They disrespect. Not to even mention just totally isolating you in a sense where in your mind you second guess yourself. It is sometimes so critical until you start to believe those messages that they tell you. Come on, that's your partner, that's your family. Imagine if you had a significant other that told you every day you will amount to nothing, you stupid, what are you doing? After a while, you start to believe that, because that those are the people that are the closest to you. And so after a while, you start to believe that. And the danger in that is that we begin to act on it, right?
Wow.
Isolation. They're keeping you away from your friends. They're keeping you away from your family. They're keeping you away from anybody who can recognize there is a problem. They keep you isolated because that is the game of control. If I know Augustine can get to Quita, oh boy, he's out the picture. They will use everything they can to destroy that relationship. What you with that man for? You think he your friend? You know what he's saying about you? You stupid. That friend there you got, and he's saying all these things about you. So they will put stuff in your head, and some women, they are blinded by it. He's jealous of you. She's jealous of you, right? They don't care about you. They gossip about you all the time. Don't go out. Why are you going out dressed like that? You're too overweight. You're too skinny. You're not pretty enough. You can't even dress. I mean, whatever they can use to get you to be isolated from people around you. And so you see many people that are struggling from DV, many women, they are always by themselves. And you can tell the signs are always there. It's almost like they are timid, they are shy because, of course, they've been abused. And you may know a sister that is going through DV right now because you can see that, okay, she's not herself. He's not himself. They are so timid, they're so afraid. They do whatever they can to make those individuals feel alone, and they justify their actions. Emotional abuse. This is the most that I can even, for me, emotional abuse is even by far more harmful than anything else because it lasts a lifetime. This is where I tell my patients, you need to put a stop to this because you are being put down in everything that you do. Okay? You feel bad about yourself. Talking about low self-esteem, a lot of women that leave domestic abuse situations, it takes them years to rebuild their self-esteem. I mean, I have people in therapy that were abused 20, 30 years ago, and they are still struggling today with the after effects. It is a lot to uncover. It is a lot to unpack. And so people come to therapy and they're thinking that, okay, I'm going to seek help and I should be fine. But if you were exposed to emotional abuse, calling you names, cursing at you, again, gaslighting, you're crazy, you are stupid, you are ugly, playing mind games with you, giving you the silent treatment, I would talk to you when I feel like it. Oh, you don't deserve it. Withholding affection and love. You got to beg for it. Well, last week I was mad at you, so I'm not going to have sex with you this week because you got to beg me first. I don't love you because if I tell you I love you right now, you will be frisky. I've heard a lot.
Wow.
I have heard a lot. And
So,
so,
so that, I mean, this is really mind-boggling. But I want to go back to the one piece on the economic abuse. And again, before we just get to that economic abuse, I would just like to again invite our guest. If you are in Liberia, this program is actually being relayed on 105.5 FM. You can actually catch the show on 105.5 FM. And if you are here, you would like to call in, you have question for Dr. Roberts, you can call. There's a number that we are going to be scrolling across the screen here very soon. You can also text us, yeah, I mean, your comments, and we will, or your questions, and we will have her answer those questions. But let's go to the economic abuse, Doc. And this is not just a husband and wife, because when you were describing it, I was like, well, I'm thinking, why if my wife and I, we have an account and basically we both spend from this account? I
yeah,
mean, how quickly could that shift into economic abuse? I mean, she has account, I mean, credit card, I mean, a card to the account. I have a card to the account, but both of us name on the account. Is there any possibility that could switch over to that economic abuse where I become controlling of that resource?
absolutely. Great question. And the key word is control. So initially, both of you agreed to enter this with we're on the same level, right? We both have an account
Mm.
and it's a joint account. You were in agreement. I was in agreement. We both open this account. We both have same privileges as to how we use that account, meaning that I don't need to get your permission to withdraw money from this account.
Right.
I don't need to get your
Correct.
permission for to buy to spend now. Out of courtesy, I would tell you, hey, Augustine, I spent $200 the other day from the account just to let you know. That's just respect between partners. That's what you do. If I have a joint account now, if I am spending $1,000 from the account, I want to let my husband know, hey babe, I spent $1,000 the other day on a Louis Vuitton bag. you know so of course I want him to know that because I don't want that to come as a surprise to him, right? So that's
Sure.
a different thing because now we both agree. However, that can switch when maybe my husband thinks that, well, who she thinks she is, or spending all this money, I gotta teach her how to spend money, and it gets him to the point where he feels like he's going to control without my permission.
Got
So
it.
he pulled me off the cards. I have no knowledge of it. Now I have to go back to him. Wait a minute, I went to use the card and they told me I was not on the account. Yeah, because you don't know how to spend money wisely. I got to teach you how to spend money. So quickly that relationship has shifted into power and control.
All right.
Wow. Stephen, go ahead.
Yeah, so I had to jump from the back, even though I can't stay in the back as the engineer. This is interesting. Again, thank you so much for coming on. These are things that happen in our community.
Yeah.
I will throw in two here, talking about the control, right? Why, if you talk about control, you say educational. Let's look at the educational aspect where we have one person is say, I'm the smart guy, so I should go to school, and this woman help you, or this man help you, you get your education, and then once you start making that income, you suppress everything, or you do everything to prevent this person from going to school or to attaining a higher education or to improve themselves. You understand?
Mhm.
How do you have a lot of situation like that where families are coming to you and say, "Hey, I help this man or I help this woman to achieve a goal. Now she's looking at me as nobody." Can you please expand on that? Talking about the educational abuse, I can say.
Yeah, definitely. Happens all of the time. Um, Many times in our community, and not only in the Liberian community, because I've heard this across the board. It happens where one partner will invest in the other partner, meaning that, okay, we agree that you go to school, and while you go to school, I will be in the market selling all our little money we have. I put it towards your education so that you
Mm.
can become something. And then at least I will be here after you reach a level, graduate, then it will be my turn, of course, or maybe I don't want to go to school, but that investment should turn around and come back. It doesn't, it happens a lot. I've heard
Mhm.
lots of stories where the partner either leave because they feel like, now I went to school, you country woman, I'm better than you, I got to get somebody on my level,
Mhm.
or they are in a relationship and they are abusing this person now because they're making them feel less than.
Mhm.
Now, I'm the educated one. You over there, you stupid. I want my educated friends. What are you talking about? But remember, I got you where you are today.
Mhm.
And so you see that
Wow.
a lot of times in the Liberian culture, as far as I can remember, I've heard, don't educate your woman because when you educate her, she will leave you.
Yeah, yeah, I
Right?
heard that
You've
too.
heard that?
I
I've
heard
Yeah.
heard,
that.
don't educate your woman because the minute she get educated, she gone. Out the door with that.
Mm.
Because the man can become educated and he can leave just as well. Right?
Yeah.
So it depends on the person. It depends on the person. If you are appreciative to what your partner has done to get you where you are, it's about mutual growth. We are on the same level. But if you don't see it as that, and more than likely in domestic abuse, how does it happen? It really, really happens when quickly, it changes very, very quickly when one person feel they have that power and control. And it can be because they have educated themselves. It can be because they got a better job. It can be because, they just feel they have arrived and the
Mhm.
partner is at a point in life where they don't need them.
I just wanted to add a follow up since we're discussing this on the show, and then I can leave Mr. Sherry to take continue from there. But
Mm.
um, uh, from based on your experience, I know usually America take action based on statistics, right? Are you guys reporting this to some higher governmental level, say in the future, such that if people are in a partnership, whether married or not, right? People stay together 10, 15 years and help build up another person's career, then that person walk away. What happened to the money that this person has invested? My question here is the system or is there any policies out there that says this person gets some financial benefit after I've invested in you over so many times, and then you are this person now and you decide to walk away? What happened to my return on investment? How does one benefit after investing in all that? So maybe if it's not being happening, is there something being reported so that someday people can start paying back?
Well, they call that prenup, right?
Mm.
If you're
Yeah,
going into
but
a
not
marriage,
not in a marriage
are you referring?
situation. No, I was saying in a relationship, right, where I help
Okay,
you. Sometimes people stay together, they're not married, but they still help each
true.
other, right?
Yeah.
And that person eventually becomes somebody. Then the person decide to walk away after you have invested your hours of sleep, invested your time of work, and that person decide to walk away. So my question is, since you are a counselor, people coming to
Yeah.
you and reporting these things, are you guys
Mhm.
tracking it over time to say after 1,000 occurrence, we think there should be a law on the book that says if somebody invest $1,000 in you, after a certain amount of time and you become somebody, you need to pay this person back something. It's like child support, right? You say economic investment support. So that person have to invest into your future over time, maybe for a 4-year period before they can get off that list. So that's what I'm asking. Is there some
Okay,
reporting
so
being done?
okay, got you.
Mm-hmm.
So there is not a law right now on the books for
Mm-hmm.
that, but I think that is a good point. I think the idea with most domestic issues, that's why it is so hard whenever you find people report domestic violence, especially when it's not physical threat. You will see the
Mm.
cops come out and they will tell you, okay, we will give you guys time to go through counseling to work through that. Because the government is not always quick to jump into domestic dispute, right?
Mm-hmm.
They only come in when there's an imminent danger. So in a case like that, they will leave that up to the two parties. Enter a contract. If I was coming into a relationship and like you're saying, that can be something that in the future, people can be smart about their decisions. If I'm going to help you to go to school, look, let's
Mm.
write this contract. But in our community, it's not just going to sit where, oh, so you didn't trust me, you want red contract now. So what
Mm-hmm.
you gonna think? You're gonna go. What you think? You will put me to school and I will leave you. How I can do that kind of thing? I can't do that kind of thing to you. Our people, they will not even go for that. But I think it will be very, very, very good if people were to start off, especially if you are married, and that is something that is a question to you. Enter a prenup. If you are coming with a lot in that relationship, and look, you don't have to be rich though. Let me say this. We don't know. Prenup really protects you from a lot of things. We don't know that law. And that's something we got to constantly educate people. And, why are you not going through it? Oh, I have a house in Liberia. I have X amount of money in the bank. I have worked so hard in this country. I met this man. He wants to marry me. Sign that prenup. I'm sorry. That's the school I come from. But shout out to Noe. Hey, sister.
Mm.
That's my sister.
All
Thank
all
you
right.
for
So
joining.
Doc, thank yeah.
Shout out to Catherine Moore Guerrero. She's on. I just want to say hello. That is the CEO for Liberian Wives. Thanks for joining. And, Catherine, if you don't mind, speaking of domestic violence, Catherine herself, her story is so unique. She is a victim of DV. And one of these days, she just stated her story. I mean, she can come on and tell you guys she almost died. She was hospitalized. It was
Wow.
horrible.
Wow.
I mean, very, very horrible story of DV. And it
Mm.
was only by God's grace she survived to tell the story. So there are many victims of DV living within our community, the Liberian community, and around the world. So as we are highlighting this very important topic, domestic violence today, I just want to, like you just stated, Dr. Positive, I want to really educate our people about the choices that you make. You can see the red flags before you go into a relationship, right? We
Yep.
need to be
Sometimes.
smart about our choices.
Yeah. So Doc, thank you so much for clarifying. And Catherine, I salute you. Thank you so much for sharing, at least disclosing here on our show. Thank you. I think you are such an inspiration to other women around you. So thank you so much, Catherine. You are awesome. Thank you. And Doc, I'd like to go to another question. One of the stories that's been making headline in the United States since September 11 of this year has been the story about this young girl, 22-year-old girl by the name of Gabby Petito. And Gabby Petito, she's someone who lived on social media and just put all her life out there. She, from all indication, from what we could see from the outside, she and her boyfriend had a beautiful life, beautiful story, beautiful life. traveling around the United States, making videos, making big money. Everything's fine until we know the poor little girl. She got killed, and then I think 2 or 3 days ago they said they found the
Found
body
his
of the
body. Yeah.
of the boyfriend or the guy who killed
Mhm.
her. So I guess to follow up with that, my question is how widespread is domestic violence in our society?
Oh my goodness. Just let me just go to my statistics here because I want to be clear. So as we talk about globally,
Hmm.
70%, that's
Wow.
huge.
Wow.
Globally, 70% of women experience some form of gender based violence. 70%. So that means in your lifetime, 70%. Let that just sit there.
Wow.
Women.
That's a that's a big number. Big number actually. Big number.
Here are some statistics that people need to understand. Boys who witness abuse, our little boys, are 4 times more likely to abuse in a dating relationship. I saw my mom doing it. And sometimes it's not, I mean, my dad doing it. And sometimes these things are not really evident until they grow up and it comes to the
Right.
surface. And then you start acting this way and you don't realize why you're acting this way. But something clicked because when I was 4 or 5 years old, my dad used to beat my mom around. And I just thought when a woman misbehaves, that's how you get her in line, right? So just globally, and I mentioned globally, and I'm going to give you a little statistics. I know we're not on Liberia now, and when we get to Liberia, I will give you. But that's one in every female. So just thinking about it occurs. Me and you sitting here, there are 5 women. You can count 5 of us, at least 1 or 2 have experienced DV, whether it's emotional, sexual, physical, economical, is prevalent.
And what is the percentage when it comes to males being the victim of domestic violence? Because I know sometimes the emphasis is really focused or is narrow on the female being the person who is the victim. But is there any number that actually highlight male being victimized by domestic violence, and what does that even look like?
So with the males, and again, this goes for physical violence here. There's a rate between 32% males.
Wow.
32% males, okay? Um, rate. So that is high too, right?
That's right.
But those 32%, they are perpetrator. There's only about 25% or at least 21% that are abused by women.
Hmm. Wow. So
Okay.
based on the, go ahead, Doc. I'm sorry.
So then they broke it down to assault. As it relates to assault, severe assault, 10.8% males were found to be assaulted by women. That's 10%. Okay. So
That's mind-boggling, and
it's yeah,
it is not something that you will actually think about when it comes to, again, this could be just a stereotype, but it's not something you think of males being victims of domestic violence. But I guess based on the numbers that you just gave us, with the 70% when it comes to women being victimized and the 32% with male being victimized, why is domestic violence underreported or not reported at all? I mean, it's in
yeah,
some cases, what are some of these reasons that people don't talk about it? People don't report it.
yeah. So I gave you the statistics for the boys, full, 4 times likely. And here
Mhm.
are some of the statistics for women, and then I will go into that. 33% of girls, meaning little girls, who witness domestic violence while growing up become victims themselves.
Hmm.
Why do we not report it? If if I have witnessed it as a child, I saw it in my family, well then why am I not reporting it? Some victims will say, for the sake of the children. I was afraid that if I reported it, he was going to take my children away from me. I was afraid that I wasn't financially stable. I wasn't making enough money. I don't have a good job. Where will I go with these children by myself? I cannot sustain on my own.
Hmm.
Religion plays a big role. My church, my pastor, what would my pastor and my church, what would they think of me? If I leave my partner, what would they think of me? And then I don't want to be alone. I don't want to be alone. I'm going to have to raise these kids alone, or nobody's going to want me. There is also the fear of if I leave, he's going to do something to get me back. If I leave, he'll probably come after me and hurt me or something like that. Now, culturally, we know we have culture constraints, right? Culturally, there's a lot of pressure
Hmm.
from cultures. You got to stay there. That man beating you, stay there, man. He will not kill you. Just stay there. When he beats you, you just be quiet. Man will be man. Excuses for men. A man will be a man. It is not acceptable for any man to put his hands on a woman, or, of course, for any woman to put hands on a man. Another thing here is loyalty to the abuser. Why are they so loyal to these people? Let's look at the psyche behind it, the power and control dynamic. For so long, you have been told X, Y, and Z. This person loves you. I don't know if I'm sure you have seen some movies where the abuser perpetrator, after they have beaten these women, to come back, oh baby, I love you, I'm so sorry, please forgive me, I got anger problem or alcohol problem, and but I promise I'm going to change, I promise I'm going to change. And they believe them. And so what happens is, for a few days, they're good, they're getting that buy-in, they're getting you to buy in. And then you believe that, oh yes, he's changing, I can trust him and get comfortable. And the minute you get comfortable, bam, he's back in there with the same circle. That's
Wow.
that circle of power and control, right? It's
Hmm.
my duty to be loyal to this person. It's my responsibility to stay in this marriage, for better or for worse. He's going to change. I will keep praying for him. I will keep praying for her, right? And then a whole shame, shame and humiliation. This is the big one for most people.
Hmm.
The guilt, the shame, the humiliation. You know what people would think of me? That I got a failed marriage, that I got a failed relationship. Just the third man I've been with that didn't work out. Maybe that's just your personality. Maybe you just have not learned to set boundaries on these men. Maybe it's the fact that they come in, they want something, and the red flags are there, and you ignore them. Or maybe you are just attracted to abusive men.
Wow.
I can't leave. Things will get better. I'm hoping that things will get better. I deserve better treatment, but I don't know how to get it. So I hope that it will change. And then there's a language barrier. And this is why now, and I'm so grateful for this. It didn't used to be on there, the Department of Health, but now they have added under the DV page, if you need visa, we can help you. because so many victims were afraid because, of course, as it relates to immigrants, I brought you
Hmm.
here. I will not give you your paper. If you leave me, I will not give you your paper. I will report you and they will deport you. I
Mm.
had very high cases of that from the Hispanic population because they were reporting it a lot more. And I wonder, I said, the funny thing is, we don't see this a lot in the Liberian community, but I know it's a lot there.
Yeah.
So just that social isolation and all of these reasons are why victims will not leave. They stay there, they're loyal, they're afraid, the shame, the guilt.
So, so talking about it's social, and let's add another one to a culture, right?
I
Uh,
said the
uh,
culture, yeah.
yeah. So wherein we have families that say, hey, when you do something to your husband, you come here, we'll beat you and carry you back. Where the pa and the certain culture will say they will take force you back to go to your husband.
Yeah.
Do you think that is impacting some of our ladies as well, such that the family help to promote this abuse? Do you think
Yeah.
that that is a lot in our life? Are you seeing people coming to you for that as well in your practice?
Absolutely. In fact, I had a call a few months back of a lady who was in a situation from Liberia, and a family member called just to kind of pick my brain as to what happened. How should they proceed? The other family members were keeping this woman in this abuse. This thing has happened for years now. To
Mm,
the point where the night the man came to actually take her life,
mm,
she ran away and she did not even go to the family members because she knew they were going to tell her we will stay here because that's what happened. She trusted them and she went to them and they told her stay here tomorrow morning, we will find something, we'll talk this thing, whatever. And she believed it. The next morning they came, they called her husband, he picked her up. Oh, Asare, you know that my woman, she'll be my woman always, blah, blah, blah. Carry her back, beat her when they got home. How
yeah.
dare you run to my people?
Mm,
You don't take my business to my people. So, yes, the answer is yes. And we need to stop. That's the bottom line. We know we must stop
mm,
because people are dying. I know we
yeah.
mean well. And the best way that you can help a family member struggling with domestic violence is to support. And how can you support them? Listen without giving advice. Listen, they will tell you, do not insert yourself. It is not your business to, oh, so he beating you, that man beating you, what he doing to you.
Hmm.
It's
Wow.
not your business. In fact, there was a case of a lady in Liberia who was going through domestic violence, but in the sexual assault area with her husband, where he was forcing her to have sex when she didn't want to have sex. And he will literally pry her legs open and force himself on her. And initially she was embarrassed. She said, I thought this is what people do in a marriage. I thought it was normal for me to be in there and this man wanted, and I don't want to do it. So what do I do? So Liberia, especially when it comes to domestic violence, I know the numbers are alarming all over, but in Liberia, especially, lifetime physical or sexual intimate violence account for 38.5, and that's underreported.
Wow.
38.5. Let me share this because I know we're almost closing. Liberia ranked 177th out of 188 countries as it relates to gender inequality. We don't talk about it much.
Hmm.
Partner violence is at least 12 months, 35%. We rank in the 150 place. We must do better in Liberia. There are people dying. There are people every day losing their lives. We see on social media. Don't assume that you can identify somebody from domestic violence just by looking at them. You cannot. Provide help when it's available. Acknowledge their feelings. I'm so sorry that happened to you. The most that you can do is to believe their story. Let them know you're concerned about their safety. Safety is always first. Do not pressure them to leave. When they're ready, they will leave. Now, let me say this. When it comes to safety, as in somebody's life is in danger, we always err on the side of safety. So if I know and I let you know that I am concerned about your safety, I'm telling you first and foremost, get out. If your life is at stake, seek help. Now, that's when I'm coming in, right? Because I want you to know, um, I'm not asking you, you're afraid of your partner, he can beat you. And that's how people just shut down because you are, too invasive.
That's true.
You are too invasive. So I'm here for you. I'm so sorry, man, you're going through this. I mean, I can't even tell you how you should feel. What can I do to help? Is there anything I can do to help? I'm concerned about your safety. I want you to be well.
So, Doug, like you said, we are getting close to wrapping up the show here,
Mhm.
but it has been a very profound discussion, and as always, very informative. With the people that you see, though, let's just stay on Liberia for a second. With the individuals that you see, would you say this is also a big problem among Liberians in the United States? Not Liberian in Liberia, but in Liberians in the United States who know better, who know that you can go to jail, you can be. I mean, the police can show up at your house. Do you still see this to be a big problem among Liberians in the United States?
Absolutely. Absolutely. In fact, I deal with this more with Liberians here than I deal with in Liberia. And we know, but here is where culture comes in, right? As we stated, we all have our subculture within a culture. So even though we are a part of the American culture at large, we live as Liberians in America. We have a subculture. And so what our subculture tell us is you don't call the cops when your husband be you. You don't do this to this person. You don't do, in fact, I just found out today that somebody took a gun to their wives and in domestic violence as it relates to culture aspect. Again, what do you do? We are so quick to protect one another. I can't tell you how many times. Oh, it's okay. Just stay there. Ma, it's okay. Just if you need to take some time out, go somewhere, go on 2 weeks or so to your sister house, 2 weeks break, come back. And you come back and this person has not changed, but you are the one who's making the changes. And they are because it's a power and control kind of a thing. So you end up staying because you are afraid.
So, Doug,
Why?
let me touch on this point, because I think one of the disturbing cases I heard of, at least I was privy to knowing about because I knew that person, was one of our Liberian sisters. I'm not going to tell you what state she lives in. One of our Liberian sister who was here in the United States, her husband, whoever, he went back home and brought the lady here. But when he brought the lady here, that lady would be home. And this guy will go out bring his girlfriends home to their home, and he was bringing different women in their marital home. And just the advice you just gave, I didn't know that, because my first thing was to tell her, you know what, you are beautiful. Don't sit there and let him do this. It's time for you to get on your own 2 feet and start doing something. But that was just disturbing. Will you take that to also fall in this category of domestic violence? And if so, in what categories of that wheel does that fall? Where this woman is sitting home and this guy just bringing different women home, and when he bring those women home, just tell them, "Oh, my little sister, oh, my sister." Where does that fit into that
that
domestic violence wheel?
that fit exactly into the male privilege.
Wow.
That sits into that male privilege because, of course, I'm the man, right? I can make decisions as I choose to. So if I choose to bring a woman in the house, well, she's my sister. You're in here, I'm lying. We can also fit that, of course, into um, well, I guess we can also fit that into minimizing, denying, and blaming, right?
Hmm.
Where when it comes to making light of the abuse or lying about what's happening within the relationship, but as it relates to the male privilege, so much so because these decisions that is being made of me bringing people in the home or bringing my sisters or whoever he called them in the home, these are people that are important to me. So, I have that right to bring them, to keep them around me. That's that male privilege.
Wow. Okay, and thank you so much for clarifying that for us. That one of the things that I'm coming back to the U.S. here. One of the things that employers are actually doing is to hire someone on their in the human resources who will just be there, and that expertise will just be to talk about domestic violence issues. Look at
Exactly.
employees, talk to them about domestic violence, make sure the workforce is um, is going in sync. And yeah, there's a lady by the name of Kim Wells who also worked for the National Football League, the NFL. She talks to the players about domestic violence. And when I read that, I said, wow, even the NFL have someone to talk to them about domestic violence. Do you see this to be a big problem also in the workforce? And if so, how does that affect the employee who is experiencing domestic violence?
Yeah, definitely. We see this a lot, especially if the partners have like a high position. We see a lot of psychological and emotional abuse. So where there's extreme jealousy, right? Where they cause you to feel guilty. They start calling names. They're destroying your important things. Constantly criticizing you. I've seen cases where people destroy their partner's car because they bought a brand new car, and you think you're something because you're driving a Mercedes, and because you think they made you supervisor, I will make you to lose that job. You ain't nothing in this house. I'm the man. Alienate them, and then publicly humiliate them, because of course, here is what's happening. You are something. So we've had to call the police, the cops at at places of work, because the partner will show up there and they want to cause havoc on these people. So whatever is happening, don't bring it in. Where physical abuse, they want to come to work, they want to beat this person, kick them, slap them, push them, withhold whatever they're taking medications. We've had to call the police for somebody that needed medication taken and the spouse took it away and brought it to work, trying to control them over it. I mean, it's just even attempting to force miscarriages. There are people who we had to, and it comes to your job. These
Hmm.
things come behind you, So many times, yes, we deal with these as well, at whether it's at home or it's work or even in school. Even in school, we deal with this.
Wow. Well, So I would like to bring Dr. Positive back on the screen as we get towards closing the show. It has been very informative for sure. We got so many comments coming through, and we want to thank all of our viewers and all of those individuals who have self-disclosed on our show. We salute you and we thank God that you came out of it safely, like you all have said. And abuse is not okay. It's never okay for you to find yourself being abused. That is not a normal kind of thing to find yourself in. So, Dr. Positive, I'd like to give you the floor. We got 5 minutes here to wrap this thing up.
Yeah,
Um,
and
I guess take it from there.
thank you for the honor. Thank you, sir. So I just wanted to add this here, right? This last message, Sherman posted, "Love hurts sometimes," right?
Mhm.
Um, I know we got 5 minutes left, but this statement means a lot. Love hurts sometimes. In Liberia, people say when a boy be you, he not love you. When it
Hmm.
when the man, when the man are jealous on you, the man love you. Or when the woman not jealous on you, the woman love you. And these
I've
are
heard
the
that.
right? These are the things that we take and we own these things because we give the abuser the right to
Yes.
say it's okay to abuse me because you love me. In your expertise, just to wrap up, do you get that a lot also? And I will end. I will wait for listen to you, and we can end the show after you finish too, Mr. Sherry. Can go ahead.
So let me say this: love is not abuse. I will say it again: love is not abuse.
Mm,
When we say love hurts, we're talking about good hurt. Now, there's a level of jealousy in healthy relationships where I am jealous in a good way, where, of course, there's a level of healthy jealousy. I'm inspired by you. Love does not hurt, and love is not abuse. You matter, whatever you like. If somebody who loves you and does not love you and is showing you the exact opposite, you matter. We have to understand that when a person loves you, they will not, okay, do whatever it is to hurt you. They
Hmm.
will not. Now, if I mistakenly hurt your feelings, mistakenly, and I apologize, and I do not repeat that behavior, I have learned from my mistake. But if it's a pattern, we are talking about patterns of abusive relationships, abusive behaviors. If this is a pattern that is happening every day, every week, every month, and you are hurting, you are suffering silently, and you are there because you are ashamed, because you are guilty, because you are loyal. It's time to break the silence. It's time to break the silence. No more silence. It's time to seek help. And so, any woman or man under the sound of my voice who is listening to me right now, you may be experiencing domestic violence. We have shared so much. We have shared so much tonight. And where it's a pattern of abuse and control, and you are convinced that in order to feel love or to be loved, you got to sometimes hurt, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Please seek help. Please
Hmm.
seek help.
Again, we
thank
want to thank you so much, Doc. And so, Stephen, I will reserve the last word for the doctor. So, if you want to give us your last word, just on the overall presentation tonight and just the discussion tonight, you want to give us your last word, and then we'll
you.
just wrap this thing up.
Yeah, so I just want to say thank you, Doc, for coming on. As always, your expertise is always a blessing for us. And to those of you out there, folks, this is something that we think will benefit all of us. There might be something going on in your family or in your life that might not, that you think is okay. If somebody is hurting you, like the counselor said, please reach out for help. And folks, if we see somebody being hurt, actually, if we see somebody being hurt, let's at least speak to somebody in authorities and say, hey, this is happening. What do you think? Then that person can come back and say, hey, let's take this action or something. But we shouldn't sit there and watch for the person to be killed before we say, oh, I saw this and I saw that. Please, my people, let's change this in our community. In order for all of us to live happily in our community, we have to take actions when it's necessary. So I will just stop on here because I'm not an expert. I will let an expert end the show on what she think we should do to help each other in our community. Again, thank you both. This was an outstanding show. I really appreciate the discussion and thank you for your time.
All right, Doc. So, we don't want to close the door, but we can sit here and do this all day. We can do this all day, but every good thing must come to an end. We got to give the people the taste, and then we'll bring you back because they will want you to come back. So, what will be your last word to our people today as we close the show?
Thank you guys once more for having me. It is always an honor and a pleasure to be here. I enjoy being a part of your show. Auguste was supposed to share some of his cassava gravy. He didn't do it.
He invited us.
You saw me drinking water, right? That cassava, man, it did.
I know. But on a serious note, guys, domestic violence is something that kills many women daily. In fact, at this very second, there is a woman who is dying from domestic violence. At this very second. And let me say this, everybody deserves healthy relationships. Everybody. So you may have been exposed to DV at a very early age. You may have suffered it, watched a family member live in a home where mom and dad live this life, and to you it's your norm. That's toxic. We must break those generational curses. You may be a man that have witnessed your father domestically abuse his wife. And because of that, you feel this is the way to treat a woman. You must stop and seek help. Nobody deserves to be abused. Abuse to those victims, it is not your fault. You are not alone. There are many people around the world who are in the same situation you are in. Seek help. What can you do? Listen to those people, again, that have suffered domestic violence. The least you can do is, I'm sorry. I'm sorry you're going through that. Express your concerns. Provide your help whatever way that you can. Be of a listening ear in a non-judgmental way. What do I mean by that is, I told you to leave that man alone. I told you to leave that woman alone. She's stupid. He's stupid. That's not your place. In a non-judgmental way. The information is out there. There are hotlines that you can go on. If you are in Liberia, please check out Mental Care Liberia. We have a hotline in Liberia, and it's an organization that we are using to educate people on domestic violence. If you are in the United States, of course, the 1-800-799-SAFE, right? Or text START. There's so many information. Liberia, you can reach to your nearest police station. There is ES Grant. There's Anchor of Hope. There is the Carter Center. And hopefully we will have many others following. Do not suffer in silence. Let us break the circle and let us stop the stigma.
All right, guys, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much to our viewers, and thank you so much to Prime FM 105.5 in Monrovia. Thank you so much for relaying the show for us. And that is how we are going to end this segment today. Again, like we opened the show, this was not intended to re-traumatize individuals who have experienced domestic violence, but it was intended to really educate our people. And I think, Doctor, thank you so much for all the information. The doctor is not getting paid, so maybe next time we'll make it sound great for her.
Yes.
But we just want to say thank you to everybody, those who share your stories. Thank you so much. And someday, who knows, we might bring some of you guys on to actually share your story with us, because by sharing these stories, you just might be saving another woman's life. So again, feel free. The national hotline to call is 1-800-799-SAVE, or you can text the word START to I believe it's 88788. You can actually text that word START to report domestic violence. So thank you again, everybody, and we look forward to seeing you next week. We are looking forward to having the Deputy Minister for Information, Culture, and Tourism. He's going to be on our show next week. We are not going to be talking domestic violence, but we are going to be asking him some questions on issues in Liberia and some of the things that are taking place in the country. So join us next week as we have another edition of Liberia Shall Rise. Until then, you all stay safe and God bless you.
And the honor and the praise. Weeping may endure for the night, joy comes in the morning. So in my weakness I will shout, lift a song of rejoicing. In every circumstance I will never be shaken, for He's been good to me. Oh, so good to me, yeah. Favor that I didn't deserve, the love you showed like no one else. Promise given to progress, I can go on counting my blessings.